Hey guys, it's Rebecca, and for today I am doing a review of Alex and Eliza by Melissa de la Cruz. I'm very sorry that this review is getting up so late. I planned to do it last week and then school got really busy, and so today is the first day that I've had time to film anything. So I hope you like this review and let's just get into it. So on April 11th, Alex and Eliza by Melissa de la Cruz came out, and thankfully I pre-ordered the book. So on April 11th I got it in the mail and I started reading it, and oh my goodness, I loved it so much. I am not a big romance person, which is what contemporary books are about, but it was about Alexander Hamilton and Eliza Schuyler, and so I made an exception and decided to read this book. And also I'm not a very big fan of pink books because pink is my least favorite color. But it's so cute, and you get to see Alex and Eliza in the heart, and it's just so cute. And there's nothing really on the inside, it's just black, except that there is that right there. That's pretty cool. So I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the story, and like I said in my book haul, I don't think you have to be a fan of the musical to enjoy this book. It's just a love story set in the 18th century, and I think anybody could love this book, even if you haven't seen the musical or are obsessed with the musical as I am. I enjoyed several things about this book, so let's just get into the things that I liked about this book. And just to let you know, this is a spoiler-free review, so even if you haven't read this book, you can still watch it and make a decision on whether you want to read this book or not. So one of the things that I liked about this book is the introduction to Alexander. He's introduced at a ball, kind of like the winter ball that's in the musical, and he is coming to court-martial General Schuyler because of a battle that he lost. And Alexander is also hoping that he can meet the famous Schuyler sisters because he's heard a lot about them. During the time before this, the Schuyler sisters know that this Colonel Hamilton is coming to the party tonight, and Angelica are excited to see him. But Eliza is not. She's just like, whatever, I don't really care about this colonel. And the first time that you get to see Alex is when Eliza is staring out this window and he's just a shadow, and I think that's really cool because the main characters of the book, and the first thing we see of him is a shadow. And so I thought that was a really cool introduction to him, and also that Eliza doesn't care about this dashing colonel that's coming to their house. I think that sets up the story really well to progress throughout the rest of the book, because in the musical and the song Helpless, she's instantly infatuated with Alex, and I think it's really cool that in this book it takes her a while to love with Alex. And another thing that I really liked about this book is that we get to see Hamilton's struggle of being penniless. While he's at this ball, he's surrounded by all very rich men, and Alex is this penniless boy from the West Indies, and he has no chance of marrying one of these Schuyler sisters because Angelica and Peggy's husbands are both very rich, and it is expected for Eliza to marry another rich man, but she doesn't, obviously. And I think that in this book you really get to see Alex's struggle of coming to grips with how poor he is and how he can never be with Eliza because of his wealth. And in the musical, that it's mentioned how he's penniless. I really like in this book how it highlights it, and that was a real issue at the time, was girls not being able to marry the people that they love because they don't have enough wealth, and the girls have to marry up and marry well to support their families and their legacy. And also the proposal was super cute in this book. Obviously, I don't feel like it's a spoiler to tell you that they get married at the end because it's a romance, and if you even know anything about Hamilton the musical, you know that they get married. But anyway, the proposal in this book was super cute. It comes after a lot of Alex ignoring his feelings for Eliza, which is super cute, and just there were a lot of hardship, which I'll get to later. But it's just super cute, and I love it, and it made me giggle. I was like, yay, they were finally getting engaged. and then the wedding happens, and it's beautiful. And I also liked how this book kept it historically accurate to some degrees. I'm not sure how historically accurate it is in some respects, but it's historically accurate in the respect that Angelica had no feelings for Alex, which is a main part of the musical. Angelica had already eloped by the time that Eliza and Hamilton got married, and so she had really no chance of being with Alex. And when Alex and Eliza weren't married, Angelica had John Baker Church, who she knew she was going to marry eventually. So I did like seeing that different side of Angelica, where she wasn't, you know, falling for Alex. I did enjoy the historical accuracy of it. Not that I don't like Hamilton because of the historical inaccuracies. I just think that's really cool that in this book, like, you get to see how Angelica would have acted in real life because it was historically accurate. Now I'm going to get into a couple things that I did not like about the book, which is why I did not give it a full 5 out of 5 stars. I'm not sure if this is just me because I've heard the musical so many times, but in the very beginning it did give a lot of background on Alex, and it kind of got repetitive for me because I was like, oh yeah, I know he's from the West Indies, I know there was a hurricane, I know this all this stuff. Let's just move on to the romance. And I think it's in there for those who have not listened to the musical, and I mean, that's fine. It's important to have background on the characters. So if this was just a random historical romance that you could fall in love with the characters and be invested in them, just for me it was a little repetitive because I already knew all this stuff, but I'm not too broken up about it because I understand that there's people who haven't seen the musical and wouldn't know how Hamilton got from the West Indies to America. The one other thing that I did not like about the book was how long it took for the conflict between Henry Livingston and Eliza to come together. Now, in the book, Eliza is being forced to marry this guy named Henry Livingston, but it did provide good conflict between Alex and Eliza, and I'm not sure if the relationship between Henry and Eliza is historically accurate. I didn't really care to look up the information. I just felt like it was introduced in the story way too late, and I would have liked to see it a whole lot earlier, because in the beginning it's going through Alex's feelings for Eliza, and while that's great, I felt like there wasn't any conflict in the very beginning of the story. And then once the subplot with Henry was introduced, it did add conflict to the story, which was good, and I was happy about that. I just wish that Henry would have been introduced a tiny bit sooner so that there would have been conflict throughout the whole story. But all of those points aside, I really enjoyed the book. I'm so glad that I was able to read it. And one other funny thing that I have to say, I don't always read acknowledgements, but a really funny one in this one, and it says, "The book would not be a reality if I hadn't taken my family to see Hamilton in New York City in June 2016. It was right after the Tonys and featured the original Broadway cast, except for the king, so to us Rory is the king, Jonathan Who." And I thought that was super funny because Jonathan Groff was the original King George, and then Rory O'Malley took his place, and I just thought that was super funny. Only Hamilton fans will understand that reference, but I enjoyed it, and it just added a little bit of humor to the end of the book. But anyways, I really enjoyed the book, and if you like Hamilton, if you like romance, if you like historical romance, I would definitely recommend you picking up this book. It is on shelves now. Hopefully you will enjoy it as much as I did. That is all for my review of Alex and Eliza, but I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you want to see my trip of when I went to Hamilton in Chicago, I will leave that linked down below for you guys. And if any of you have read this book, let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it, and until my next video, happy reading!